Hi. Okay. So we're back, y'all. We're doing chapter 4, part 2. I know when I introduce it, I'm always getting the chapters and parts wrong, but we're on chapter 4, part 2. We're doing techniques. Before we get into the techniques, I had gotten a really quick download that I wanted to share with you. I talked about it in length on TikTok, and I think I'll just try to upload that one to YouTube, but because I explained it completely, my thoughts about it and everything, and I thought it was really interesting. But I decided to just share the download with you guys, the channel. So they said fear can be a baseless thing in your life when you are ready. And of course, I had to look up what baseless means. And the meaning of baseless is without foundations or fact. So basically, you do not need fear. We do not need fear. And fear can be a baseless thing in your life when you are ready. So when we are ready, we don't really need it. Anyway, I go into it a lot and more into it, and why I had been thinking about it a lot in another video. I'll try to upload that later, but I wanted to share that with you guys. So now we're going to get started on chapter 4. And again, I'm sorry it took me over a week to do the video. I know I said I would have it done in a week, but I work 2 jobs, and you know how it gets. We get busy and stuff. So that was another thing I wanted to point out. I have a Patreon if anybody is interested that wants to learn how to OBE one-on-one, to get connected with your guides, to open your psychic powers, to open your clairaudient powers, your clairsentient powers. So that's on my Patreon if you would like to learn one-on-one. So you don't have to watch these long videos. Also, if you would like to make a donation to help me out, that would be amazing. And I'll add my Patreon and Cash App and stuff later. So anyways, let's get started on where we finished off last time. Okay, so ideally, total silence is recommended. So turn off the ringer on any phones that are kept in the bedroom, TV, radio. There are other sounds that we cannot control, like especially if you live in a city, helicopters, traffic, people, cars, some of that stuff. And that's fine. Honestly, when you live there in a while, you tune it out kind of anyways. So that's the whole point right now, is that you want to kind of tune it out. The ideal temperature is around 72 Fahrenheit, whether it's not too hot nor too cold for you personally. And in general, an air conditioning unit to control the temperature is good. And also that like whirring sound, you can hear it right now. The whirring of the air conditioner is really good too, because it helps you to tune things out. Let's see. Ideal time is about 3 a.m. The best time to project after at least 4 or 5 hours of rest. When tired, we have a hard time concentrating and remembering. You may also fall asleep while relaxing and working with our energies. It is good to allow our body and brain to rest for at least 3 to 4 hours. At 3 a.m., everything around us is usually quieter or calmer. When we slowly, gently, ideally wake up this time, we are usually already disconnected from our daily problems, and it is therefore easier to concentrate on the technique at hand. Otherwise, when we go to bed, we may be mentally disperse ourselves because our mind is still bubbling with ordinary daily worries. And of course, we all know how that is. It can be kind of hard. Right when you go to bed, you're still thinking about everything. You're still thinking about like, oh, what do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to get done to tomorrow? And that's normal. That's fine. But that's just how it is. So if you can set your alarm around 3 a.m. or after, he says 3 to 4 hours after falling asleep. Or honestly, I don't set my alarm in the middle of the night. What I normally do is if I wake up to go to the restroom in the middle of the night, that's when I get it started. So I do my techniques when I'm going to bed. And that's the best thing to do, is to try to get into that routine of going to bed at least an hour earlier in the beginning, so that you're not so tired that when you're trying to have your OBE, you're just passed out, because you're too tired and like your body can't wait. Like, no, we're laying down, we're going to bed now. So that's why it's good to try to get used to, like, go to bed an hour earlier. But if not, if you fall asleep, it's fine. It's gonna happen. That when you wake up, like if you have to go to the restroom or like moving around and you kind of wake up, after 3 to 4 hours of sleep. If it happens right away, like turning around after an hour, your body's still gonna be too tired and you're not gonna be able to do it. So, 3 to 4 hours after, restroom, if you can set an alarm, great, do that too. Let's see. In the middle of the night, the projection of melatonin and especially serotonin, two neurotransmitters that help prepare our body for sleep by relaxing it, is at its peak. When we wake up at this time, the relaxation will take less time, since these two substances are already working for us. Finally, at this time, the generalized holothalcine of society is less against us, since, as we mentioned, most people are sleeping. All right. Ideally, we should try to wake up at 2 to 3, 4 hours before, after we go to bed, exactly like we said. So yeah, the holothalcine is great. It's going to be a lot calmer. Pretty much, at least at the nighttime, most everybody in your neighborhood, in your country, in your area, and even anybody in your house is going to be sleeping. So the holothalcine is going to be very neutral and very calming. So it's going to be a lot easier to jump into OBE. So let's see. A tip, if you're going to be setting an alarm to wake up at 3 a.m., low volume, soft music is ideal to avoid waking up abruptly, like that. That scared, like, jolts your nervous system awake. You don't want that. You want to be woken up very sweetly and very calmly, so that your body still stays relaxed for the reasons that we noted before. All right, number 11, physical exercise. There are cases where energy work does not improve simply because of the person's lack of physical exercise. So this is important. I'm going to read it again. There are some cases where energy does not work. Energy work does not work, or trying to have an out-of-body experience does not work simply because of the person's lack of exercise. Like, dude, crazy, right? Like, I'm doing everything. I'm doing the techniques. I'm doing all this and nothing's working. Is your body getting enough exercise, honestly? And you don't have to be like super crazy power lifter, like gym rat. Like, no, none of that. Just like a little bit of exercise each and every day. Try to stay a little bit healthy. He even talks about personal diet is too. You just want to try to be healthy and eat a little bit better. Try to go for walks if you can. Just try to get your body moving. So these are all things but there are also things that you wouldn't think could inhibit you, but can. Okay, so beyond this, if on a particular day we are physically, not mentally tired, we can use this to our advantage so as to exit the body. When the muscles are very tired, the soma falls asleep faster than the consciousness. Leave the body when we have just finished. Okay, another good opportunity is to leave the body after we have just finished exercising, especially if it was done in the morning. So he gives an example. After you wake up, if you can go for like a 15-20 minute walk, just a little walk, nothing crazy, no power walk, just a little 15-20 minute walk, and then come back and then do your OBE techniques, and you're trying to leave, that can really help you. That can snap you out really quickly. So I guess it does say that when your body is physically tired, not mentally, that it would help you to leave. That's in some cases. I think for me, especially, I notice when I go to bed, maybe I am mentally tired too. But my body's just like out, dude. Like when it's bedtime for me, it's like, okay, I'll try to do my energy work. And sometimes it'll last long, but that's why I do the hour before bed thing. So for some people it may work, for others not so much. But just try it, see if it does for you. If you do not have much physical energy, are always tired, or fall asleep each time you go to apply a technique or do another activity that requires more concentration, or if your body is presenting any kind of symptom that catches your attention, then it is advisable to go seek a physician or seek professional treatment. Check in with yourself to see if there's a need for a healthier daily routine, including diet and eating habits. Before applying the technique, avoid excessive consumption or food or beverage. Ideally, the technique should be performed after digestion has run its course. Again, that's just you don't want to be uncomfortable when leaving or trying to leave. Like we said again in the beginning, it's really easy to come back. So if your stomach's too full and you do for some reason have the OBE, or if you're like starving, like you might feel those hunger pains or that fullness, tightness, and then you might come back to your body. Okay, so necessities, go to the bathroom, blow your nose, stuff like that. Physical position. The ideal in which to practice the projective technique is the dorsal position, figure 4.1. Let me show you the picture. This is the dorsal position. All right, so you're going to be laying flat, but you want your knees kind of lifted a little bit. So you want to get pillows or one big pillow under your knees. And then you want like a pillow for behind your head, nothing too high. You don't want to be uncomfortable. And then you want your arms next to you, but kind of up. So if you can get like pillows for your hands too, that would be awesome. That is the projective, like that's the best way you could have your body for a technique. There is some techniques where we're going to go in later where you're in a chair, but it is still similar. You're still really comfortable, and then your hands are out here. But mostly, especially for the bed ones, we're laying down flat. So this is kind of how you want to be. The dorsal position predisposes OBEs because it produces a slight hypoxia, or slightly reduces the amount of oxygen in the cerebral hemispheres, helping the physical body to relax. While the physical body is in the dorsal position, the psychosoma can disconnect more easily and in less time. From this position, the takeoff usually occurs as the person floats upwards in a very forward or natural direction. It is important to mention that individuals ultimately can provoke OBEs in any position, even seated in a chair or sofa, like I said. You can do it in any position. It doesn't matter. Relaxation is important to learn how to relax completely. Always be very relaxed before any technique is applied. If you're not relaxed and your mind's running 1,000 miles per hour, it's going to be really hard to get the energy working done. Your mind's not going to be in it. It's going to get really hard to do the techniques as well. So also too, if you can get some time to get meditation practice in, that will really help you as well too. Psychological conditions. Thylacines can interfere while we are practicing a technique or an exercise to help us leave the body. Uncontrolled or unmanaged thylacines can provoke many reactions, including the following: lack of prolonged attention, continuous or sporadic daydreaming, edginess and excitability, intense emotions, whether positive or negative, difficulty relaxing properly. As a consequence of these reactions, the technique is compromised, and it is harder to achieve productive results. Here's a list of some ideal thylacines or psychological states that are best to have before practicing a technique: self-motivation, curiosity, open-mindedness, constancy and perseverance, concentration, calmness, free of fear or worries. Strong will, deep intention to leave the body. Reading material on OBEs or related subjects is very productive activity that can help us predispose us to leave the body. Likewise, we want to avoid certain mental and emotional states such as fear, insecurity, worry, anxiety, and so forth. Individuals should avoid engaging in excitable activities that pump too much adrenaline in the blood. So avoid violent, heavy movies or those that are very exciting with an intriguing plot that will keep you thinking about them later on. And I know a lot of us do this too. We all watch our favorite shows, Netflix and stuff, right before bed. And especially that shows that we love that, like he says, have a great intrigue, and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen later? And you're just thinking about it all day long, and you're just thinking about it all night long. That is not good right before an OBE, because you don't want to be trying to do these things and try to leave the body, and then like, oh, what's going to happen in the next episode? What's going to, like, no, you can't. It's just really not good for it. Again, I'm going to say it's not impossible, but that's not conducive to what you want. So at least go ahead, watch your shows, but definitely not before bedtime. Try not to, even a few hours before bedtime. Try to watch it during the day if you can. However, a technique for leaving the body, meditation, is insufficient for OBE development. The main reason for this is the directionality of the intention. During meditation, the person wants to go inward. During an OBE, the person wants to go outward. So meditation is good to get you used to calming down, to get like all the worries like out. So if you want to do meditation before you want to do like your OBE techniques and your energy techniques, that's fine. That's great. That'll get you calm and relaxed and all that, and get your busyness gone. But you don't want to be using meditation as a technique to try to leave, for the reasons that we just said. Okay. All right. In terms of the mental approach toward OBEs, the two most common obstacles to leaving the body are fear and anxiety. Fear is generally a result of not knowing what to expect, or fear of the unknown. Let me see. And then anxiety about leaving the body occurs when we cannot contain ourselves and want to leave the body right now. So yeah, just trying to relax and not be anxious. And you'll get there. There's, I know we kind of want to rush and stuff, but there's really no need. So if you are doing all those things and following all those rules, on an average, it should take us a few months to have our first OBE. Yet, as a result of the individual differences between each person, the time may actually vary. So up to a few months. But again, it just depends on the person, if they're doing everything that's in these lists, or if they're not. If they're practicing every single night, if they're working on their energies multiple times throughout the day, if they're doing it every single night, then yes, within a couple of months it'll happen. I think for me, it was about a couple months, maybe 2 months, 3 months, about that mark that I had my first. Honestly, it was so long ago, I can't really tell you, but I know it wasn't long. It really wasn't long. All right, let's see. There are some learning experiences when the progress is not as linear, such as learning how to ride a bicycle. So he's explaining what it's like trying to learn how to OBE. So it's not going to be linear, like in a timeline. Oh, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. Oh, it happened. Like, it doesn't work like that. So he equates it to riding a bicycle, and this makes complete sense. So when a kid's learning how to ride a bicycle, the first, maybe 50 to 100 times, like, they fall over, they can't handle it. But on that 101th time, they finally got it. So the first 100 times where they didn't get it, they were learning, oh, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do that, oh, wait, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that. So you're learning constantly through those first 100 time fails, right? Technically fail. But on the 100th time, they took all that, integrated all their learning from all those different times of fails, and they learned exactly how to do it. So that's basically what it's like. It's not a linear thing. It's gathering, seeing exactly what works, what doesn't, and then eventually to that time where boop, we pop out and you have your first ever OBE, and then you're like, oh, I got it. It's easy. I see how it is. But yes, it took you all that time to learn a little bit each and every day. Okay, so leaving the body follows the second trend, where he was talking about the child was gaining experience with each attempt. The first lucid projection is usually the hardest one to achieve. During all the initial steps, it may seem as if nothing is happening. However, the person is gaining experience with each attempt and learning to control all exit sensations. The ideal would be for the person not to generate any expectations, but to simply adopt the following attitude. If I don't leave the body today, I will do it in 3 months, 10 days, or maybe even tomorrow. Regardless of when it occurs, I will practice, learn, and enjoy all the nuances of the energetic work and the takeoff phase. And yeah, oh my God, even just the energetic work, I do it every day and all day when I can. The energetic work is amazing too. I love the energetic work. Projective techniques. Here we go. Techniques. We're here, y'all. Okay. Since you can learn several projective techniques, the tendency is to want to try them all in a relatively short period of time. I know we all do this, but don't. Like, try not to. It's hard. I know you're like, oh, I want to get them all, I want to try them all. But no, back to the whole, like, riding the bike thing. You need to take time with each and every one of them. And just like, oh, I tried it 3 days. It's not working. Skip next one. Like, don't do that. What you're supposed to do is try each technique for 2 weeks at a time, 14 days at a time. I know it seems like a lot, but just try it, okay? So what it says, however, try not to switch techniques every 10 minutes. This will only disperse your efforts. Normally, it takes at least 30 minutes for a person to begin to fully get into a technique. So to give yourself a better chance, practice one of them each day for at least 1 hour. Do not change techniques in the middle of the hour. Okay, so techniques, attributes, relaxation, concentration. This is a technique that can be applied before any other technique, mainly because it helps with physical relaxation. Okay, so this one, I guess they don't have names. How did I not realize this? Just numbers. So this one it's like a tightening and a loosening of your muscles. So this one, you're going to start from the bottom, working your way up. So you want to first tighten if you can, tighten and squeeze your toes. Not too crazy, we're going to give yourself a cramp, but just tighten it enough for a few seconds. I think, is it a few seconds? Count from 1 to 5 and then relax for a few seconds. So you're doing that. You're doing your toes, then your feet, then your legs, then your thighs, then your butt, stomach, your arms, your hands, your fingers, your neck, if you can. Not like, again, not too crazy. You don't want to like kink something, and then eyes. So everything, you're gonna take a few seconds to tighten it and then take a few seconds to loosen it. If you desire, you can incorporate breathing into the process by contracting the muscles when you inhale, then holding your breath during the contractions, and then exhaling with the relaxing muscle group. So while you're squeezing, breathing if you want, and then holding, and then when you're relaxing, letting it out. So you could do that too. After relaxing all muscle groups, mentally observe your physical body and determine if there is any part of you that is still fully and not deeply relaxed. And if so, repeat the technique there once again. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions, relax your mind, and try to focus your energies on any extra physical sensations that may occur. Do not let thoughts come into your mind. Be fully there in the moment, focused on nothing else but the process. After a full pass, you can do a second, third, and fourth pass, continuing and continuing and continuing until disconnection. So what disconnection is going to feel like with this technique is it will take you to the state of hypnagogia, which is the transitional state between awake and falling asleep. The psychosoma will disconnect slowly in the same way it disconnects every night. And the hypnagogic state is amazing, dude. This is when, in these states, this is when I started getting a lot of my channelings, a lot of speaking to spirit guides, even a lot of seeing them. So obviously I think that that was me into OBE, was the seeing them, but the hearing one, you don't have to be an OB technique to do that. In this hypnagogic state, you can hear them. So yeah, it's amazing. Or just straight download, All right, number 2, mental concentration technique. This technique helps us relax and relies on concentration. While we are focusing on a spot, our mental concentration increases and provokes a relaxed and comfortable sensation, which leads us to the OBE. So isolate yourself, dress comfortably, place a chair about 6 feet from a blank wall, set a table against the wall, light a candle in the middle of a large plate, place the plate on the table, turn off all lights. You're going to fix your attention on the candle flame and concentrate until you forget about everything about you. So staring at the candle flame, make sure there's no other lights on. You want that to be your only source of light, and focus and try to push everything out and focus on that candle. So it sounds silly, but you want to be that candle. You are the candle. That movement, the flickering of the flame, that is you. That's exactly where you want to be at, where you want to get yourself at. After some minutes, you may reach a point where you and the flame are connected. The flame begins to exist as an extension of your body. At this point, you may be deeply relaxed and perhaps feel the need to close your eyes. You may even perceive that you are disconnected from your physical body to some degree already. Keep the strong desire of leaving your body at the forefront. If you feel tired, do not struggle. So, yeah, if you feel tired, don't struggle. Like, if you feel like, oh, I'm falling asleep, fall asleep. And for some people, that happens at the second they fall asleep or a few minutes after they fall asleep, boom, they're out of their body. So don't fight it. Even at nighttime when we're doing these techniques, don't fight it. It's okay. It's natural. That's why we do it sometimes before bed. Like, we need to sleep. So don't fight it. It's okay. You'll have your chance the next day, you know? Okay, so important. You are to be active during this technique. Thus, you will use your will and inner motivation to keep your goal of leaving the body lucidly in the mind, floating toward that candle. Full attention should be kept on the flame at all times. Distance yourself from any thought that distracts you from this goals. This is an this is an exercise for your concentration and willpower. Focusing on the candle flame serves to improve your concentration, since it is the only continuous light in the room, and it has like slow flickering movements. So it's not going to be like you're just staring at a boring stationary light. And anyways, staring at a light like that would be so bad for your eyes. But also, again, since the candle has like little light flickering movements, you're not going to really get bored, like just staring at like a box or something. Like, you won't really get bored. Okay. Number 3, projective self-image technique. Understanding the psychosoma has the same appearance as the physical body will help in the process of leaving the body, as well as increasing our level of lucidity while practicing this technique. So, of course, you want to be alone. You want to be comfortable. This one, you need a large mirror, preferably one where you can see your entire physical body reflected. So I know, like, for me, those sliding glass mirrors, that's what I have in my room. I have 2 big sliding glass mirrors. That's perfect. You don't want something where it's just like a little thing, or even just like that. You might be able to make do with something like that, but I wouldn't. The full length mirror, you want to get your whole body in there for this technique. So you're going to be set a chair about 6 feet away. You're going to stare at your body for several minutes, and you need to pay attention to everything. You need to pay attention to your hair, to your eye color, to what your face looks like, to what your chest looks like, to what you're wearing, to like the tattoos, everything, just everything from head to toe. You need to see that person. Pay attention to everything, okay? In great detail. Try to saturate your mind with the physical characteristics. Say your name a few times to your image and look into your reflected image's eyes, feeling as if you are actually the image in the mirror. So that is you. Say your name a few times, looking into the eyes, and you're really trying to feel like that image, the one in the mirror, that is you. You were that person. If you're staring at the mirror and you start to be confused about where you are, actually doubting if you are in your body or in the reflection, allow this to happen. That's good. That means you're on your way. If you don't know, you're like, is that really me? Am I in this chair? Am I there? That's good. Keep going. Keep going. There's no problem if you fall asleep. The important thing here is for your mind to be saturated by its own image. This is what disconnection is going to feel like. It may occur either while sitting in the chair, while still conscious, or later while sleeping. So this technique works is because while we're 6 feet away and we're looking at our mirror image and saying that's us. Are the same kind of with the candle technique. We're pushing our psychosoma, the outer body, 6 feet away to where it's supposed to be in that mirror or in the candle. We're pushing it out, and that's how you get your disconnection. So that's the whole point. So now we're moving on to techniques involving imagination and creativity. How far are we? 30 minutes? Okay. Door opening technique. This is a mix of imagination, creativity, and concentration. So dim the lights and sit in a comfortable chair. With your eyes closed, use your creativity to imagine a white wall with a closed door in front of you. Take your time to create the door. Imagine and create all the details of this door, color, height, special features of your choosing. This is your door, so create it as you wish. You may also place a symbol or a sign that has a connection with you on this door. For example, a star, or a sign that says exit or extra physical or projection. You want to make it personal for you. Try to make it a 1 or 2 word expression. Don't make it too long. Contemplate this door for a moment. Visualize yourself standing up from the chair and walking toward the door. Open it very slowly towards you and imagine yourself passing through that door. Follow these images closely, paying attention to the entire scene. Take your time to finish this visual creation the first time. Then repeat all the steps from beginning, intensifying each step as much as possible. With each full repetition, you will be able to visualize the entire scene better, adding small details to it, to the ground, to the soles on your feet as you walk, your clothes, the feeling of the door, and others. Your imagination will become increasingly more real and stable. The idea is to liberate your psychosoma while you are imagining yourself passing through the door. In this technique, the door represents a passage between the intraphysical and extraphysical dimensions. You can also use a tunnel, a window, or any other possible way of exiting. Disconnection usually occurs gradually in this technique. You may feel disconnection sensations, yet keep on repeating your image again and again until you are fully outside the body. So this one, what's the word? There's that word for people like me. When you close your eyes and you try to imagine something, it's just black. There's a word for it. I learned it recently. I forget what it is. Some people can like imagine something and they literally see it in their body. They see it in their mind's eye. And there's other people, I forget what it's called, but we don't see anything. Like you could say something like apple. Obviously, I know what it is, but if I close my eyes, I cannot see it. All I see is black. So for those of us who always see is black, this may be kind of hard because it's hard to imagine and make things up like that with such detail that you need. So like I've tried this technique, and for me, I've done a few things with the door, but when I get into too much how I want it, or like trying to figure out the floor and like what I'm wearing and the feel, like it's just too much stuff that like I'm trying to remember it. I'm trying to like memorize it. And since I can't physically imagine it, see it, how some people do, it's too much for me. And I start like forgetting things or forgetting different things. So this is somebody for, God, this is going to drive me crazy, whatever that word is. But, so yeah, this might work for some people and it might not, but go ahead, please try it and see if it works for you. Try it for a couple days and see if it's working for you, or if it's just like, no, dude, I can't, because for me, and even still, I think I might give it a try again, but this one's just a struggle for me. Okay, so number 2, step counting technique. The step counting technique integrates physical movements with concentration and imagination. It takes advantage of the fact that on certain days when we perform a very repetitive task, we often later find ourselves daydreaming or dreaming about the same task during the night. Or also too, this is similar to like some of us at work. If you do something very repetitive, you start getting into the hypnagogic state. Oh my gosh, I think this is just my computer. It dies really quickly because I was at 80% and now I'm at 40%. So now we're gonna have to like end these quickly. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me see. Step counting technique. Okay, so anyways, where was it going? We're at work and you get into that hypnagogic state. because you're doing the same things over and over and over again. So that's good. You want to get into that state. You want to be able to have that OBE. So we're going to try to create that here at home. So create a path from your bed or the place where you apply the technique to the front of your house, ideally, or to a balcony or window or sliding glass door. The path you select between your bed and your target will have to be between 15 and 20 steps. While awake, literally walk this path, counting the steps and focusing on the specific visual surroundings as you take each step. So for me, as soon as I get up out of bed, I see my light to the right. I see my window. As I take step 2, my window's to the right. As I take step 3, my dresser's right there. As I take step 4, my bed is now to my left. And keep doing that till up to, like, I think you said 15 to 20 steps. You want to get to your front door if you can. If you can't, to some way to be able to leave the house, a window, a balcony, something. So for me, I figured it out. My front door is far, so I would have to go out through my garage door. For me, that's leaving. So you're going to do that. Associate at least one thing with each step. Like I said, my first step is my lamp. The second step, the windows to my right, my bed's to my right. The third step is my dresser. So you want to memorize each step. I see this. Each step, I see this. Then when you finally get to your last step to the door, window, or wherever you're at, it says, if it helps, put a sign on this door or window or something that says, like, wake up, or you're projected, or raise awareness at your last step at the door, or whatever. You could put something there if you want. After you reach the last step, go back and repeat the same trajectory. So go over it over and over again. You want to memorize this as if it's something you do over and over and over again. Okay, so repeat and walk as many times as you can. You can do this for 30 minutes to an hour. Next, go to where you're going to practice your technique. With your eyes closed, imagine you are walking this path again, the same path you did for 30 minutes, and remember every single step, okay? While you're counting steps, relax your mind, forget the introphysical environment in which you're actually lying down. Keep on repeating this trajectory until the psychosoma disconnects. If you become sleepy, allow this to happen. The disconnection is going to feel like it can happen while you're still awake and counting steps, yet in some instances, the person falls asleep and wakes up outside of the body, walking the path that they were walking in their mind. The regaining of consciousness usually comes after step 7 or 8. This seems to occur because it's after 7 or step 8, you're literally already 6 feet away from your body, so you get out of that 6 feet of consciousness that kind of like keeps you in there. So yeah, the more concentration you apply to this technique, the better the results will be. So again, my battery is low. I don't want it to die, y'all. But I guess there'll probably be a part 3 and possibly a part 4, more techniques. Follow me on, if you're interested, go follow me on Patreon. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, Esoteric Explorers, everything's Esoteric Explorers. And message me, y'all, if you're in SoCal and you want some massage or some energy work done. I do that too. But yeah, love you guys. Bye.